This is my first time using this. So I just wanted to make a quick little video on here. I know this is a live video. I'm not sure how to tell if people are tuned in. I first of all just wanted to start by saying sorry that you got a notification earlier. I have a technical team helping me through everything, and they're getting me organized with the live stream. I'm not a tech savvy person, so if you had a notification earlier with a young man who was in the video camera. Oh, is this still working? Yeah, okay, good. If you had a notification earlier with somebody else in a video camera, it's just I have a technical set of people getting me organized for everything to do with the launch. So we're testing this now. Hi, yeah, see people on here. This is so exciting. So we're at SW. I've seen your comments. I know exactly who you are, but what's your name? Can you tell me your first name? Because I don't know it, but so I am just getting everybody organized and set up. We're doing a live webinar. Shannon, hi Shannon. So we're doing a live free webinar on next Sunday, so the upcoming Sunday, October 6th, and we're just getting everything organized for that point in time. So this is really exciting. Thank you. Hi Paulina. Hi Ginger. So what I want to do is go through and share any questions. Okay, Shannon, you're the same Shannon in the class. It's amazing. Hi, Sasha. Thank you for your email earlier. I'm gonna get back to you, but I just saw it early this morning. Hi, David. Good to see you. Oh, this is so exciting. I love that I get to connect with all these amazing people from all over. So again, technology is not my forte at all. Creating content is. Anything to do with technology is not. And so I just have a team of people right now helping me get organized, learn everything, take me through things. And somebody from my team accidentally created a live stream earlier. So hi, Lonely. I don't know what your name is. I'd love to hear names so I can remember and connect with people. So listen, I'm going to just take this opportunity since we're doing this live stream, for you guys just to do open Q&A. So if you guys have any questions about content, about challenges that are happening in your life, about videos, I literally go through almost every comment and I create video content accordingly. So I notice when you guys are like, what's the difference between a fearful avoidant and an anxiously attached person? And I'm going to be creating some videos later today. But if you guys have any questions or or just things that you want to go through, let me know and I'll stick around for 10 or 15 minutes and just answer questions. Or if you prefer, I can go through some content around conflict communication, because it's something that I get asked all the time, and it's what our webinar will be about on Sunday. So it's Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, by the way. So it'll be a few days into our personal development school launch. And if you guys have questions about the personal development school launch, because I'm getting quite a few questions as well. Some people have asked me so far, why do I not have an opportunity to purchase yet? And so we're not actually opening for purchase until October 2nd. And other people have asked me things like, will I have unlimited time to finish my course? And absolutely, you have as much time as you need. So there's a certificate of completion at the end for every course. You don't have to score a certain amount or anything like that. There is a little quiz at the end that you can take to make sure that you're on top of your knowledge. Every course has between a 12 and 16-page workbook. Not all of it's necessary to complete. There's just a whole bunch of bonus exercises that go along with the courses. So you'll have an opportunity to go through everything, get organized. There's just a ton of really amazing material and exercises that are really results oriented. So that's all in there. And then every single course comes with, if you remember, every course comes with 2 live webinars a week. So these live interactions we'll have scheduled. We're going to change the schedules. Hi, oh, there's so many people on here now. I'm going to answer all these questions. Oh, thank you so much, Larry. So we'll be doing 2 live webinars a week, so I can actually chat with you guys, and all of your questions you can ask live. We're having a software installed. We're finishing it today, and it's going to have the ability to upvote questions too. So if anybody's really chatty and there's lots of stuff going on, we'll get the quality questions that people want the most on there. And in the webinar, sorry, I'm so excited about this. And in the webinar, we have a discussion forum. So you can ask questions that you're not sure about, both in the webinar and on the courses. And I'll be able to go through and answer all the questions on there. So what I'm trying to create is the most interactive experience possible. in order for everybody to have their questions answered, in order for everybody to feel like it's like a substitute for me actually being able to work with people one-on-one live. And I'm hoping there's enough interaction there. Triple fire sign. I'm just seeing some of these cool names. Thank you guys so much. These are amazing. Hey, Lisa. Good to see you. Okay, cool. So I already have some really good questions. I'm going to start going through them here. My name is Algrid. Am I saying that properly? Algadi. That's a really cool name. Wow. I've really enjoyed your content on fearful avoidance. Can you advise me on how to stop the negative trail of thoughts? Wow, great question. So this is probably actually my single favorite, most favorite topic to cover. One of the things that causes the negative stream of thinking is subconscious core beliefs. So when we go through life, we're always picking up on basically negative beliefs a lot more so than positive, because our brain's trying to hang on to the negative stuff in our lives so it can notice the likelihood of it recurring and protect us from it in advance. So for example, if you've ever seen somebody who's been in a car accident, right? That person might have driven in a car 5,000 times and felt completely safe and had a great experience in the car ride. And then they have an accident, and that one single time scares them and makes it hard to get back in a car, or makes them extra nervous while they're driving. So the brain didn't focus on the 5,000 times that you drove safely. It focused on the one thing, the one negative experience where something went wrong. And so this is basically how this works. Our brain hangs on more to negative than positive to protect ourselves from things. And this is great and conducive for your subconscious mind when it's wired for survival, but it's not great for the parts of you that need happiness. It's not great from that sort of more conscious perspective where we want happiness and joy and to feel like we're emotionally thriving. We're not really wired for that. And so what happens is our brain over time sort of makes all these inferences about our experiences and latches onto them and holds on really tightly to them and then reprojects them all the time. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're a child or a young kid and you're getting bullied at school. Let's say you're in like first or second grade. Your brain might make this belief that says people don't like me. And then what's going to happen is it's going to hang on to that negative belief. It's going to reproject that onto an external environment. And that belief pattern is going to create thoughts. So let's say you're bullied as a child, you make this belief, people don't like me, and then you never work on reprogramming that belief. And let's say fast forward into your 30s. And so now it's years and years later, but you haven't deprogrammed or reprogrammed that subconscious belief. And let's say you're on your way to a networking party. So you walk into the networking party, you're there to try to build connections, make friends, meet new people, do things for your business. And right away, that belief that's still wired in your subconscious is going to create a stream of thoughts. Okay, so I'll get you, this is like that stream of thoughts you're talking about. So now that stream of thoughts might be things like, oh, people are looking at me funny, people are judging me, people are gossiping about me, I'm not going to make any friends here anyways. I can't talk to people well. I never, do well with people. I'm going to fail in my business. All these different thought patterns are going to stream out of that one negative belief because of an old, painful childhood experience that your subconscious mind has now latched onto and programmed in there as a form of protection. And so it might be protecting you from physical threat, but it's not protecting you from emotionally thriving, from like a lack of happiness way later in life, right? So that belief is like a tree trunk, and the stream of thoughts that come out of it are kind of like tree branches. And now that belief creates thoughts, and those thoughts create emotions. Okay, so it's always beliefs and thoughts being triggered or activated very quickly that are actually responsible for your emotional output. So now you've got these beliefs which created thoughts, which create emotions. And emotions are made up of neurochemical reactions. So people aren't born with depression and anxiety when they come into the world. People extract negative beliefs from their environment, and then those become programs and deep-rooted patterns, which then produce thoughts, produce emotions, and impact our neurochemistry. And here's our chemical balance or imbalance, right? Nobody's born with depression or anxiety when they come into the world. These are programs that we adopt over time. So this is what's happening. when you get to that point where you've got the beliefs to thoughts to emotions, then neuroscience has proven that every single decision we make is actually based on our emotions. So actions are made based on our emotional state. So even those of us who think that we're very like logical and rational thinkers are actually very emotionally based thinkers, making emotional decisions at the tipping point. And then we're just quick to rationalize or justify this decision through logic. Okay, so I'm kind of going on this whole why behind everything here, and I'll wrap up so I can go to other amazing questions. But when you want to stop the stream of negative thoughts, we have to go a step beneath into the subconscious and recognize that there are negative core beliefs that are in our subconscious programming that we've picked up because of painful past experiences in our lives. And it's actually those beliefs that need to be reprogrammed in order to change the stream of negative thoughts. And we can do that through targeting the core belief itself. And I have a video about this. I also have a huge course on this. It's my favorite course in the whole personal development school. But I have a video about this, and I'll create some more like subconscious reprogramming videos too. But it's basically about questioning the thought or the belief and trying to find proof of the opposite. It's one simple way. It's like the most simple form of reprogramming to target the belief. So if you believe people don't like me, you want to equilibrate it by saying people do like me, or I could be likable, and then think of reasons why. The brain really doesn't work well with affirmations. That's a very limiting perspective because, and I won't get into all the reasons why. I think I have a video about that somewhere as well. But the brain speaks through emotion. The subconscious mind and what we need to reprogram speaks through emotion, not through language. So we need the emotional reasoning for why people could like us. You know, who do we know that does like us? Who loves us when they're close to us in our family? All those sorts of things. Those are so important in order to properly equilibrate programs. And I have a whole video on this about subconscious reprogramming, which I highly recommend watching. And you can also question your thoughts. That negative stream of thoughts is just the result of old fear-based programming that's just repeating like an old tape on autopilot. You know, we tend to repeat the same patterns of thought all the time. So go in there, check in with some of those thoughts. You might think, oh, people don't like me. Can you really know? Just because you were bullied in childhood, can you really know walking into a new networking event under new circumstances that everybody's going to treat you the same way, that you're still that same person that you were then? You know, we want to question a lot of these things because when we don't, and our mind keeps replaying them on autopilot, we keep wiring in the same programming and we keep having the same experiences because we are reacting and acting in our reality as if those same things will happen. Like, think about it. How will you feel around people at a networking event, and how will you act around people when you're already believing that you're not likable in advance, and you're already believing your business will fail? You're already believing all these really scary things, right? So we have to question those thoughts. And that was a really long answer. Sorry for how long that was. I just wanted to give you guys like the proper context because like it's just such an important question that you guys asked, or that you asked there already, like very important. So thank you for sharing that. And again, there's so much more to it, but it's just, I have specific tools for this, ways to question things, a whole bunch of different stuff, but that's a really good place to start. And I hope that makes sense. So Larry, hi Larry, I am a dismissive avoidant. I can understand where high is coming from. Intimacy can be fearful. When I feel it goes right into my stomach. Okay, so where maybe he is coming from, oh, you're commenting on something about triple fire sign. Okay, so hi, dismissive avoidant. Hi, dismissive avoidant boyfriend wants to go to friendship zone until he resolves his problems. I'm having a hard time to do so. Is this his excuse to end the relationship? I don't know what to do. That's a great question. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that. So one of the things that we know very strongly and very well about dismissive avoidance is they have a lot of deactivating strategies. So they do a lot of things to try to create space and to create distance. Okay, and they do this because it's not really about the person. It's so about them fearing vulnerability. Okay, that's like the root of their deactivating strategies, because their earliest associations to vulnerability were in childhood. And when they had these needs for emotional connection, for attunement, and they were just so consistently not met, their deep subconscious wiring is basically like, I do not ever want to feel like that again, and we'll go to great lengths to avoid and just not have to feel like they're that vulnerable. So a lot of times when dismissive avoidants start to get strong feelings, they'll sort of push back and they'll push away and they'll think that it's about the person. But so many of them have come to me in sessions and said things like, I don't know why I pushed that person away. Looking back, I really loved them. I really cared about them, but I got afraid. I felt this funny feeling and I just had to push them away and end the relationship. And usually it's at these peak points. I find this especially when dismissive avoidants are a little bit younger. As they get a little bit older, they tend to mature a little bit in some of these areas. As a general rule, this does not mean everybody, but in their younger years, like late teens, early 20s, I see this a lot. So what I would do, I'll give you a few key tips here. Number one, you want to grant the space when the person's asking for space. You don't want to, the last thing that the dismissive avoidant, they'll react very poorly if you're going, hey, like, no, change your mind or take it back, because they'll feel invaded. And that's one of their core wounds and triggers, is feeling like invaded, or that their freedom or autonomy or decisions are being taken away from them. So, because think about it, when they were getting a lot of emotional neglect in childhood and people were not making them feel good and making them feel like vulnerability was okay and not meeting their needs, they ended up feeling like, okay, well, if I can just be alone and self-soothe, then at least from that space, I have some kind of control. So then when that's taken away, it's like this double whammy for them, right? The vulnerability got triggered and now the autonomy is being taken away, and it'll really make them close down very quickly. So number one, we want to be really clear about that, and not do that. We want to grant the space, but you can grant the space and be like, listen, I'm going to grant your space. I'm going to listen to what you're saying. I respect your autonomy and your needs, but I do want to ask you, is this just your own fear coming up? Do you know why you're actually doing this and what the root cause is of it? Okay. And then you want to give that person the space. And then I'm going to give really careful advice here. Then you want to follow up and be friendly and consistent with this person for a few weeks. So you're having some, like, let's say you're talking in a very patterned manner. It needs to be secure, stable, consistent. So have these conversations every couple of weeks, or sorry, every couple of days for, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks. And then at that mark, once there's this sort of pattern and this connection and things are going well, then you can have a relationship conversation again. And ultimately what you want to do is you want to show up as your best self. You want to take care of your own needs. You know, them needing space and time is forcing you to work on yourself and show up for yourself and to love yourself and have good self-care habits and healthy patterns and meet your own needs and work through any wounds that come up for you and be really responsible to yourself during this time. And then to let that person know, and the best time to let them know is going to be right around the 6-week mark, to let them know, so you can sort of strike up conversations about the relationship at the 3-week mark after being consistent for 3 weeks, because it builds safety and trust and connection, which they need as like a prerequisite to vulnerability. And then right around the 6-week mark, you want to say, listen, I've stuck around, I've tried to be patient, and I'm going to let you know, I'm going to stick around for a little bit more in this friendship manner, but I do have hope of the relationship working out. And if you're not going to be on board at any point in time, I'm going to have to take steps back as well. And I can't wait around forever. And so what you're doing is you're forcing that person to, you've shown up for them, you've shown up for yourself, so you're getting something out of it. And then you're really expressing your needs. And you're saying, listen, this is where this stops. I've done my best. I've waited. And now I'm going to need to move on. And sometimes the dismissive avoidant needs to be reminded in a very gentle, respectful kind of way that the way that they're treating you has an impact as well, because they can get so wrapped into their own feelings and their own needs, and they have to recognize that, hey, you may not stick around. And it's usually that, as long as it's done in a respectful, consistent, kind way up until that point, it's usually that makes them kind of turn around and be like, wait, I might be making a mistake. I have to sort of change this here. So those are the steps that I would follow. Now, it's not always, I'd have to know a little bit more information about your relationship specifically, but as a general rule, those are really important steps. And yeah, Larry, it's interesting because Larry comments after and says, I'm a dismissive avoidant. I can understand where he's coming from. Intimacy can be fearful. And like, just like you said, it's the vulnerability, because those earliest subconscious associations to vulnerability are like so scary. So it's like they're stored with, I feel so unsafe being vulnerable around others. And that's what falling in love and being in a romantic relationship demands. So it's the hardest for the dismissive avoidant to do. Thanks for sharing that, Larry. The red pill. I didn't see your email yet, but I'll go check it out after. Thank you so much. I'm just, it's nice because I've been working so hard, and today and tomorrow I get to just like go over things, catch up on emails, catch up on all these different things that are happening. So Wes says, thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited about this school as well. So excited. So Wes says, can a person be both fearful avoidant and anxious avoidant? Okay, so really important question. So fearful avoidant and anxious avoidant are the same thing. So just to be really clear, because a lot of people ask me this. So think of it this way. So there's secure, and then there's 3 insecure attachment styles. So those are anxious preoccupied attachment style, which we know are like the anxious, like need to come close. Then fearful avoidant, but we're going to call for right now fearful avoidant, anxious avoidant, and then dismissive avoidant. And the reason fearful avoidant can also be, it's a good way of referring to it, also called anxious avoidant, is because they're basically expressing both sides of the insecure attachment style spectrum. So they've got some of the anxiety in them where they can feel that anxiousness, and sometimes you'll hear fearful avoidant also referred to as disorganized. And really what this is that there was enough inconsistency in the fearful avoidance childhood where they felt like they couldn't be dependent on a caregiver. So where the anxious attachment had inconsistency, it was usually when the caregiver was there, they were good, they were safe, but then maybe they weren't there a lot and their physical presence was inconsistent. But for the fearful avoidant, the actual parent's presence was inconsistent. So when they were there, their emotional state was inconsistent. So maybe the caregiver was an addict or was depressed or was super anxious, or there was violence or trauma in the home. And so what happens is that child feels like they can't fully trust even attaching to the parent. So they want the parent to come, and it's like, come here, I want comfort and safety. And then when the parent comes, the parent's emotional state that the child is so attuned to doesn't feel good either. And then they're like, oh, go away. And the fearful avoidant all the way into their adult lives until they work on their attachment style is still playing out these patterns. Come here. No, you're too close. Go away. And so they experience some of the anxiety of the anxious attachment, and they experience a lot of the avoidance of the dismissive avoidance. And so fearful avoidance is also known as anxious avoidant. And again, they experience both sides, and they tend to have a lot of more deeply rooted sort of trust challenges and issues there. So what a great question. Oh, and Paulina answered it right after. Great answer, Paulina. Awesome. Thank you. Maddie, am I saying that right? Madai? That's a cool name. Hi, Thais. I'm anxiously attached and was wondering, how do you know if a dismissive avoidant actually had feelings for you, or if you're maybe just projecting something you wanted to happen? Okay, so that's a really great question as well. So it's hard to know for sure, but the general rule that I would follow is that dismissive avoidants generally have more feelings than you think. Okay, so if you think that if there's a little bit of them expressing feelings, it's so hard for them and it's so scary for them as it is, that even if there's like, if they ever saw you for, it depends like the relationship, right? Is it somebody you knew for a little period of time, or is it somebody you were dating? Like if this was somebody you were dating and the dismissive avoidant was giving you their time, dismissive avoidants do not do things they don't want to do. So if they were giving you their time and they were showing up, you can know with certainty that they had some sort of feelings, and then what probably happened is the vulnerability scared them enough and they weren't ready to work through that, or there were maybe some challenges in the romantic relationship for periods of time, and those challenges were also acting as catalysts for their wounds. And then over time, even though they might have had feelings, they had to sort of pull away and protect themselves. So that's how I would sort of judge it. I'm so happy that you're reparenting, Vidai. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. I think I became dismissive avoidant. And I'm gonna have to run at 4:15, which is too bad because this goes by so fast. I thought I'd be here for like 10-15 minutes, and I have a call at 4:15. So I'm gonna answer this last question, and then I'm gonna do another live. So I'm doing a live on Sunday, and I'm going to put an email out about it and all this stuff. And I'm sending a bunch of emails out with my team just for just all the information you need, like tools, tips, everything to sort of like prep you for the school launch. And then after that, we just have content emails going out like once every week or 2 weeks or something like that. So I just want to answer this. I think I became dismissive avoidant due to a narcissistic mother. So I would say that is one of the leading causes for how males become dismissive avoidant, because it's that enmeshment, and that enmeshment is so like, the brain has something called a homeostatic impulse. It always wants balance or equilibrium. The brain and body are both self-regulating, right? So they always want like homeostasis, balance. And we're healing and healthy, and we're more in a state of joy and gratitude when we have balance. And so when we have a narcissistic parent, so in your case, you have the narcissistic mother, and this narcissistic mother is so overbearing and so like just, enmeshes themselves with you and has all these expectations and is super controlling and all these sorts of things, it puts you in this like lack of homeostasis. Your need for freedom and autonomy get repressed because you're supposed to be whatever the narcissistic mother wants you to be. And so now you're in this imbalance. And so what that will create is this need to like get your autonomy back. And that program will become patterned in there over time, because the subconscious is programmed through repetition plus emotion. And now over time, all this need is going to just like pile up for equilibrium. And there's going to be a huge hardwiring that says, I need my freedom, I need my autonomy, I need my space. And if anybody feels like they infringe on it, you'll need to push them, very, very far away. So that can be, and keep in mind, that's still a form of emotional neglect. Having a narcissistic mother is still a total form of emotional neglect, because your individual feelings and needs are totally neglected. You're going to be loved as the narcissistic parent will love you like an extension of themselves. So they'll just project onto you everything they think that you should feel, think, say, or do, and they're not connecting and attuning to you and your feelings and your needs and how they impact you. And so that's its own very profound form of emotional neglect. So I hope that I'll post, Sasha, I'll post a link. Where will I post it? Do you want me to post, will I post it on the website? I'm not gonna be able to find it while I'm doing this live. Because I think if I go to my YouTube channel, it'll log me out of the live. But okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, you guys. But I'll put something up there. I'll just make it I'll post it right now, actually, on the channel, on the thumbnail of the homepage of YouTube. I'm just going to write this down. Okay, beautiful. So here's what I'm going to do. Will the interactions have a replay button of some sort? Yeah. So not only will the live interactions have a replay, but if you mean in the course, Paulina, every single live interaction is going to be recorded and put into the members lounge, which will be like a library of all live streams, all live webinars that we're doing about each course, where people can ask their open Q&As about the courses themselves and all of that. So everybody will have access, if they can't make a live stream, to the live stream afterwards in there, which is super cool. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste these questions, because there are a few more down here that I couldn't quite get to in time, and I have to jump on this call. But I am awesome. I am going to, a lot of fearful avoidant people do have both sides of the pattern of behavior, and it's really push and it's like hot and cold, exactly like you're saying, very push and pull. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste these questions, and I'm going to put the next live stream, I'm going to start with these questions. So I'm going to just like touch on these in here. So if there's anything that you want to ask or you want me to answer, I'll wait for just another moment, and you can post your question, and I'll start the next live stream on Sunday with answering any of these questions that are unanswered here. This is so exciting for me, because I'm still learning about technology. It's so great that I have a team. And again, sorry for I have one of my team members, the tech team members, was organizing it earlier today, and ended up doing a live stream. But so sorry that you guys received that. But what I'll do is, now that I understand and I've been taught and tutored in the live streams, I will be doing them on a regular basis, which is so exciting, because I love chatting with people and just answering questions. And so feel free to put your questions in here below. Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a live stream, but it's not just going to be open Q&A. It's going to be content specific. So it'll actually be about conflict communication. I'll go in depth to some like really important conflict communication tools, and then I'll answer live Q&As afterwards. So that one's going to be like an hour. This is me just popping on here, checking it all out and connecting. And then the next one will be an hour in length, and there'll be a bunch of content, a bunch of Q&A, all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for being here, for jumping on here. I'm so glad I got 40 of you guys got to be on here and connect with me and be on here live. So thank you. And Aw, thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate that. So nice to connect with you. Leona, that's so pretty. What a nice name. Hi. Okay, have an amazing day, guys, and I will hopefully see you in the school when we launch in just 2 days, and also in future live streams. And even this week, we're doing a whole bunch of live webinars. So thank you, Sabia, and videotapes. Aw, thank you. That's so nice. I'm really excited for you guys to all be here. Thank you so, so much. Okay, have an amazing day, guys. See you soon. I can't wait to chat with you guys more soon. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye. I don't know if it's ending.